this should be the last round of cuts you'll have to make this year, or is there potential for more? And did you make any cuts to the office of the governor?
The governor's already taken a 5% cut already, the budget there. As far as where we look, I mean, when you look at where we are, this little over $200 million number, when you look at quarter 1, it matches up pretty closely. I can't rule out that we're not going to have to come back and make additional restrictions as we move forward. But at this particular juncture, at this particular time, I think the cuts that we have meet the requirement that we have at this time to keep the fiscal house in order.
When you said that you had already made a 5% cut to the governor's office, you mean when you signed the budget, or do you mean in this round, or what do you mean?
Prior to this, we'd already done that.
Okay, so there's nothing additional in this round.
Right.
Governor, could you elaborate on the Medicaid provider rate cuts? And you said that these would bring them in line with Medicare rates, but most of the rates have been below that, and the legislature has been trying to raise them, saying that that would improve access. Do you think that lowering the rates could hurt access, and how would that square with your promise to improve access?
No, I mean, there will be cost containment in the area of Medicaid, but no one will lose eligibility. We will not be cutting essential services like dental or vision. Linda will walk through that. What we're looking at is moving over into generics, which we think can save some significant dollars, dealing with the providers, not the recipients here. I should also note that all of the issues around Medicaid here would have been much easier had the legislature adopted what was a very, very solid proposal last year, to not use 1 penny of state taxpayer dollars. Instead, use $50 million of the FRA money, matching about $100 million of federal dollars. If we had that $150 million in the state till, all of this process would have been much easier. And as I said last year, that measure passed the Senate. I'd hoped that it would pass the House. It has not made this process easier. But no one will lose eligibility, and we will not be cutting essential services like dental or vision.
So do you think it will hurt access to lower the rates or not?
No, I do not think it will. Yeah.
What about the medical providers, though, who are saying that they really can't afford to operate on what they're getting paid?
We can use generic drugs. That's as Linda will go through the briefing, when you look at the actual dollars on there, I think moving folks more aggressively towards generic drugs does not cut access. I think that seeing that reimbursement rates for service providers match the Medicare rate instead of above that doesn't cut access. They're certainly clearly providing those Medicare services now. So I think in all of these areas we were very, very careful to provide the resources for what I think is going to be a continuing pool of people who are going to access Medicaid. We're already up 20,000 children now that are covered that weren't covered before the beginning of the year, and we're hopeful that the economy will turn around, but if it doesn't, we have to be prepared to handle cover additional lives.
Governor, the jobs that you announced that you're going to have to eliminate, are those, I guess, across the state?
Yeah, they'll be
across the state and across all different departments?
They'll be across the state, across all departments, and like I say, about 450 part-time and about 200 permanent. We'll try to divide those out into places all across the state to look for areas of efficiency that we can find.
Are you still trying to find places where you just haven't hired people that you're not going to?
We're pretty much beyond that part of this exercise. Some of the earlier things we did back in January with the original, we're dealing with vacant positions. We have clearly moved into real folks and real jobs.
Governor, there's quite a pool of unspent economic recovery money the state has. I think it's beyond $1 billion. Why not use some of that to avoid these cuts?
Well, I mean, that is to be paid out over a 26-month period. We're going to expend it over that same time period. I think to overexpend there at this particular juncture would cause us to fall off a significant cliff at the end of 11 or 12. I think that as I outlined at the very beginning, we were on a path to try to use those resources, especially those stabilization funds, to make sure that they were used for the purpose that they were designed to. And I think that the states that overspend in that area on the front end will see large cliffs and drop-off of services even more dramatic than we've seen in the past. So I think that we will remain disciplined and prudent with the expenditure of those resources.
Governor, when you say the possibility that somebody who lives at the poverty line will not get medical services because of these cuts?
This will not change eligibility. No one will lose eligibility on this. We will not be cutting essential services like dental and vision and other things that are out there. No, I certainly don't believe that'll happen.
Governor, what non-core higher education funds are being cut?
Linda will go through the full briefing on that, Tara. I mean, a couple of examples would be some supplemental dollars that in the past have been moved towards things like University Hospital and things of that nature.
Caring for Missourians, where's that?
We've protected that.
Governor, about 2 months away from a new legislative session, what you've been struggling with, what you announced today, how will that shape the debate in the legislative session when you're looking at state budget for the next fiscal year?
I actually expect that having budget challenges and having actual dollar challenges, not just budget challenges, actual dollar challenges, will bring people together. I think it brings out the best in Missourians. People tend to, I need all 163 House members and all 34 senators helping me make these decisions, all of them. And these are not easy.